Alright, y'all. I'm back again with a quick video, and this video is going to be about Lonzo Ball and layups. So, Lonzo, we've noticed he has a problem making his layups, right? And there's two main reasons for that, and I'm not sure if this has been discussed on a big scale because a lot of times we sit here, we have these conversations, we talk about what players need to work on, right? But we don't talk about the fundamental issues of the stuff that they're working on. So people would be like, okay, Lonzo's been in the league 3 years, going on 4. He can't make layups. Okay, right? But everybody wants to be an armchair critic. Who are these guys going to say why he's missing layups? They just say he needs to get in the gym and practice, right? So what specifically is it about the layups that Lonzo is jacking up? Still haven't seen that from a lot of these guys that want to get out here, critique Lonzo, and talk about his game. So let's talk about it real quick. Lonzo has two fundamental problems with his layups. One is technique. Really, it's three, but to the less extent, I'll tell you about three later. So one is technique. The problem with Lonzo Ball is his technique. And that is also involved with his floater game too. But it's like Lonzo, when he's running or trying to attack the basket, he doesn't slow down. He's always taking these long ass strides with his layups, and that momentum is going with the ball in his hand. So some of his layups hit the backboard and come back. He's putting too much power into it because the ball is carrying the momentum with his layups. He would be better if he slowed down his steps toward the basket and not go hard toward the basket. He needs to yes, when you're running and transition, cool, but you gotta pace your steps or try to cut them in half when you're at the basket so that the momentum isn't carrying the ball. You'll go look at some of his plays and he's taking those wide steps, the ones where he has no problem making. His steps are paced. They're a little bit more organized. They're not so, elongated. And so there's less momentum on the ball, right? And so he's able to better effectively hit those layups, But when we talk about Lonzo, we talk about his layup issue. Who's going to break down these techniques for you? So he's if that's one of the reasons with his layups, it's like, okay, well, why hasn't that been changed? He hasn't sat down with anyone, or no one has broken down the film with him. It's like, look, this is the problem with your layups. This is what you're doing. You got to work on your technique. See, technique issues are easy to fix for the most part. You just have to grind those. You just have to get out there and work it out. Right, but when you've been hurt, you haven't had that opportunity to. This is his first offseason, so he's getting that opportunity now with Chris Johnson and Key, the trainer. So you could go watch some of those videos, and some of the things is he's not taking these elongated steps with his layups, so he should be a much better finisher at the rim this year and going forward. Now, the other layup issue that he's having is Lonzo has this tendency to do these one-hand layups. He'll go. I know my house is a little junky in the back. Y'all don't mind that. But I was in the process of getting stuff ready to go do laundry, so I got stuff everywhere. But he'll take these one-handed layups and he'll go around the world. And because of it, it's disrupting his rhythm, or his rhythm is much more easy to disrupt. So what I mean by that is when you go for the layup, he's not protecting the ball through the contact. I could go make contact with Lonzo and throw off his balance with the layup, and he won't get it. It'll affect the trajectory if I just bump him a little bit in the right way. Because Lonzo is going to have to fight through contact. He needs to protect the ball when he's gathering it and on his way up so that he can fend off the contact and then he can make his layups. If you go look at some of these layups he's making, some of them he has made, but he would be more efficient if he could just protect the ball on the way up. Now, I went back and looked at a couple of the videos with Key and Chris, and it seems like they were actually grinding that with him. So that's great to see. If after looking at those videos, if I went back and wasn't seeing him like he's still laying up the same way, then that means he needs a new trainer because he's not doing shit. Right? And so it defeats the entire purpose of him having an off season if he has bad trainers that aren't teaching him, oh, this is the proper technique. This is how you shield the ball. Pointing out in his flaws in the video, like, okay, when you're going for the layups, you're taking these elongated steps. We need to cut the steps in half and give you more control. You're lacking the control. And when you're going up for your layups, you can't go one arm. It allows me to throw you off, and you're going to be missing most of your lays. Go in, you need to know how to use your arm, your off arm, to hold into the contact, protect the ball going up so that they can't throw it off and you can make your lays, which seems to be what he's working on. So I have confidence in him being able to make some of these layups and stuff now. Now, here's the other part. Here's the bonus. Here's the third one. And even though, actually, let me take a step back. Let me go into his technique with his feet, his footwork. His footwork needed a lot of work. Okay? Even with stuff like his floaters. Lonzo with his floaters, he has the same issue as far as the steps. He lets the momentum throw him off. What he needs to do is when you're going to go make those layups, Lonzo normally he would step in or run into his layup or his floater and just do it off of the momentum, pushing the ball further. What he needed to do is to stop and double plant his feet and shoot straight up and get the floater that way so that it's all technique. So if Lonzo's running to the basket, okay, he's running into the defender, throwing the floater. The momentum of the ball is going with him as he jumps through the air. If he runs, double plants his feet, go straight up, one, he's not going and catching contact from the defender, usually the center, and now it's purely technique. He just has to throw it in there. Little things like that will change a whole lot in how Lonzo plays the game or how effective he is at scoring. See, when you don't get these off seasons to work, this is why I told people in my videos, he still has his UCLA skill set. His technique is UCLA. It's not NBA league ready. And so he didn't have those requisite parts. For him to still get basically 11, 12 points a game with the shitty ass technique he has is actually fucking impressive. Him getting 11.8 points a game for shitty technique is impressive. But with these guys working with him on this stuff, he's going to make these shots that he was missing now. Think about this. The man's got 11 points with bad technique. Double figures with bad technique. He had games where he was getting 24 points a game, or not 24 points a game, but he's getting 24, 27, 20, stuff like that with bad technique. Some of that was jumpers, though. A lot of those games came as a direct result of him making his threes. But now he's going to have the other parts to the game. Now when he's going to go and finish, he's going to be able to finish with proper technique. Some of those things, those wide open lays he was blowing, he won't blow them anymore. Now, I still got to go back and look at all of the tape to make sure Key and them are working him out right. But I just went back and looked at because I know he was finishing through contact yesterday. And I went and looked back at the other one where he had the video and it was in grade and stuff and blah, blah, blah. It was like a minute long. I need to still go back and look at the beginning stuff that he was posted to just to make sure. But, that's the footwork part of it And the protecting of the ball is two very key important components of him scoring around the basket. You should see, because they're working with him on that, you should see a tremendous increase at him finishing and attacking around the rim. Because of that, in his mind, he should shift to be like, okay, I got this. He should be more aggressive. This is great for Zoe. You know, whoever put him in contact with Keith and Chris, I don't know if it was BI or Clutch or whoever got into this man's ear told him, hey, this is who you need to go talk to. Even if it was Zoe, they need a fucking pay raise, applaud something. That's important. But here's the third caveat, right? Lonzo's Ball's injuries have been primarily where? Legs, right? So his power in his legs isn't that strong. Now, I see him doing some balance ball work, which is great. Some core work, that stability is great. It's going to help with a lot of things, from his jump shot to his layups and attacking, his pivoting, yada, yada, yada. But his foot strength off of one leg, he has a clutch dependency to want to use 2 feet, which gives defenders time when he's trying to make certain attacks at the rim. It gives them time to recover that they shouldn't have, so they can interfere with his shot. Now, if you go back and think about what I just told you and compartmentalize this stuff, he's not guarding the ball on the way up, and he's not stepping into his shot or his layups properly. Plus, he's lacking the proper leg strength to get up where he needs to lay the ball. How often are you going to score effectively when technical parts of your game and the physical parts of your game are lacking? So if you don't believe me, go back and look at some of the film. Yes, he's made some of those shots, but the problem that you guys have and everybody has is what? Consistent. Why? I think I spelled that right. No, I didn't, because I put a T there. Consistency. CONSE, whatever. I'll go back and fix it later. It's early. I ain't had my Starbucks this morning. All I got is a little sip of my Powerade, so I ain't all here. But it's consistency. The consistency is the one thing that we're waiting on from Zoe, right? So if he's not consistently controlling the ball when he's laying up, it's not going to work. If he's consistently being inconsistent in how, his foot planning, his technique, how he's actually going to moving toward the basket and absorbing contact. If that's not good, he's not going to be consistent. But when you fix those things at the root issues of them, plus you work on the leg strength, because if you go look at it, there's a clear difference. When you go look at his legs, you're like, damn, Lonzo don't get up high. But he's got, a 40-inch vertical? That's not 40-inch vert. Go look at the film. I'm telling you guys, everything I'm saying to you, you're going to be like, Jay Strokes is right. Look at that. You're going to be able to point it out. Look at that. Okay, there's some of you who are going to point out the Miles Turner where he crossed him up and finished at the rim. And I get that. That play just so happened to work. But that shit ain't going to work all the time. There was more times than not this year he tried that shit and it didn't work. So the point is, those 3 components, the technique basically with the speed at which he's attacking the basket, protecting the ball on the way up, and the leg strength, those things are going to be important for the consistency of his finishing around the rim and attacking the basket game. Please, if you don't believe me, go look at some of his highlights, or rather his lowlights. Go see the stuff that he was fucking up on. If you can go look at any of the best, like James Harden, when he does his floater, he plants his feet and he goes up directly. He doesn't jump forward. It's a straight up. Lonzo, he's going angled toward the defender. That's not benefiting you as an offensive player. This is my problem, and this is going to go on a slight rant here. This is my problem with these goddamn... And Gilbert Arenas was fucking right. I don't know what the fuck they got these guys on these squads for, these trainers supposedly. They're not training shit. There's no reason, like, people want to talk about, LeVar had him, for 3 years, he ain't have a shot. This motherfucker been in the league 3 years, and niggas ain't sit there, pulled him aside, yo, bro, your layup package is garbage. Garbagier. Like, this is how you do it. Stop running into it. Like, you should have You should have developmental trainers like Key and Chris on your roster to alleviate those issues in your players. They should be sitting there watching film on your guys and say, okay, look, coach, I need 30 minutes a day with Zoe to work on this to fix this part of his game. Period. But people want to talk about, well, he's been with LeVar. They got these funky jump shots. Niggas be in the league and got funky everything. Funky technique. It's ridiculous. And we have to focus strictly on the offseason for them to work on it. Fuck that shit. Get people on your team. Teams need to hire people that actually understand the technical aspects of the game as far as attacking and scoring, so for their players that need it, so they can develop that shit. It should not be guys out here like me and some of these other dudes that's able to point out these technical flaws in these guys. Like, they're professionals. Why aren't they getting professional help? Why aren't there guys on the roster that can help them develop their game? See, to me, it's like, okay, what if Kenrich Williams is not really a bad scorer per se, but he just has bad technique because they didn't have anyone to develop his skills? Maybe he would be better. Maybe it wouldn't take B.I. 3-4 years to get to the point where we're like, damn, he's an all-star. Maybe he would have been there in year 2. But yeah, just go look at the stuff, man. You don't have to trust me. Go look at the film. You'll see the problems. And you can come back and say, you know what, man, you're absolutely right. And why nobody is talking about this, your Stephen A. Smith, your Skip Baylesses, and all these other guys. And I love some of those guys. They're funny. They make the league. They make, commentaries. It's colorful. It's, it's interesting. I like to see the argument. But as far as technical discourse that's not being talked about, you're going to see guys that get on these posts, Lonzo's trash, but they can't tell you a single technical thing wrong with his package. No homo. No homo. They can't tell you a single technical thing wrong with his skills or his the way he's attacking. It's your boy. Y'all have a good day. Go check that shit out.